All right. Okay, we're recording. Okay, I just wanted to start and tell you guys the reason I wanted husband to come on is because I know that when I got started, I have a really supportive husband. However, there were some hesitations on his end and legitimate ones, and also some I thought were ridiculous. So we just kind of wanted to talk about from both of our perspectives how that kind of went, because I don't want other people struggling through the same things if some of these things may help them. So when I first decided to be a coach, it wasn't because I was like, oh, this is something that I'm going to do. I've watched all these people do it. It didn't happen like that. It was kind of an accident. I really didn't know. I just wanted a discount. And so I signed up and people started talking to me about things. And so I just started signing people up without really knowing what I was doing. And then when I started getting paychecks, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Maybe I should do this. And so I started kind of exploring what the options were. And I didn't have a working coach at that time. So I was just checking out how to do things in the back office and just kind of learning at my own pace and trying to figure things out. Sorry, let me just mute all. Okay. So at one point I decided maybe I should just do this and be a coach. And right around the same time, we had just barely moved. I had just had surgery. I had decided I'm going to start homeschooling the kids, all these things all at once. And my husband was like, whoa. It's a lot of changes I wanted to make. I had been doing these programs for almost a full year, and I knew they worked because I had already lost 70 pounds before I became a coach. So I just wanted to keep doing the programs and keep doing all the things. And I'm like, hey, if I can get a little $50 paycheck here and there, that's cool too. But I wasn't at that point ever thinking I'm going to quit my job, anything. It was just, I'll make a little extra money. But once I said I wanted to go all in, it was kind of a little bit stressful because for him, I had a job as a nurse where I was at the top of the earning pool in our hospital. Like I earned more than everybody else. I wasn't working a ton, but I knew that if I went to work, I was guaranteed these paychecks, where a job like this, you don't have guaranteed paychecks coming in. Even if you're putting in work, that doesn't necessarily mean you have a paycheck coming that week. So that I totally understood all of that. And I wanted to just prove that I could make it work. I wanted to get him on board with everything. And that was a mistake for me. I wanted him to be doing the workouts with me. I wanted him to be doing everything with me to see how good it was. So I kind of tried to force him into doing the workouts with me. I asked him several times and he would do one here or there. And the whole time he'd be like, oh, I hate these workouts. I hate these CrossFit stupid workouts. And I was like, these aren't CrossFit. But he just didn't love the ones that he tried with me. And then I told him, hey, I'm going to run a marriage group because all these other coaches are doing that. So I'm going to do it. So you have to be in this marriage group with me and be part of this with me. And we're going to do shift shop and we're going to do this 21-day marriage group. We have probably fought before this group. We have probably argued loudly 2 or 3 times in our entire relationship. We're 16 years right now that we've been together. So we don't fight, but during that group, the first week, he spent 5 nights on the couch and we were fighting nonstop. This is our marriage group. Love your spouse marriage group.
5 nights because I chose to.
He chose to. Like, he chose to because we were fighting so much that he went and slept on the couch. So that was my mistake, trying to force him. And we're supposed to be doing all these how to love your spouse quizzes. And it was like ridiculous. It was awful. So my biggest tip is do not try and get your spouse on board until they are ready. I did not talk to him again about workouts, period. Like we didn't speak about it for a year. And then 80-Day Obsession, when it came out, he wanted to do 80-Day Obsession with me. And he came to me and we did it together. And since then we've been doing programs together and it's been amazing. However, do not try and force them to do it when they are not ready, because it was the biggest mistake for us. And it just left this tension between us so that every time I brought it up, it was just tense.
The thing I wanted to add to that was you have to see where your spouse is coming from. And so sometimes your spouse might not be completely on board because of experiences in their life. So I grew up in a household that my dad switched job to job to job, and nothing was guaranteed. My biggest fear is not having that steady paycheck come in. I chose my career path because it is a steady job. It is something that will always be there and will always be needed. And that security is comfort to me and makes everything, even the lower pay, worth it, because I just feel that way. So when she wants to switch a job or have this job take more time than a steady paying job like being a nurse, it's a difficult thing. I imagine a lot of you have some of that same difficulty, same thought patterns that your husbands might have. It's just something that happens. The other thing that happens is your past experiences. We had, I don't know, 10, 15 workout DVDs down in the basement that have plastic cover on them. And they're typically expensive plastic covered DVDs. So it says that, all right, this workout thing that you're starting, is it going to be the one that gets put on the shelf, just like the other ones? Or we have these little hair barrettes that are down in the basement, and there's lots of them made because it was a side business as well. And is it going to be one of those things? What switches it is seeing the dedication from the spouse. My wife waking up at 5 a.m. to do the workouts and to do her business mainly. I mean, she oftentimes waits for me to do the workouts, so she wakes up at 5 a.m., which is complete dedication to me, mainly because I don't know what 5 o'clock looks like. 5 a.m. isn't something that is any part of my life.
They have those in the morning too? What?
They do not. They do not have 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm certain of it. So when she wakes up that early in the morning, it is, it says she's dedicated, and it says she's all in on it. And so right then, her knowing some of my fears and helping to squash some of my fears with showing me the money rolling in or things like that helps me understand that it's going to be okay. Us figuring out some of our financial struggles that might clearing up some of those. We figured out a way to change vehicles and stop having a car payment, and those sort of things also help.
Yeah. So the working out together for us has been one of the best things for our marriage. Right now, we are not doing a program together. For the last 4 months since I had shoulder surgery, we have not been working out together, and it has been really hard we had like a little month in there where we did, but it's been really hard to lose that because we spent that 30 to 60 minutes a day together, and that was just guaranteed time together. When you have 4 little kids, guaranteed time together alone, which our kids run in and out, but the more we did it, the more they got used to us being in the workout room and leaving us alone. But that was something that was really good for our relationship. It does need to come at their own time, but if that is one of the things that I am the most grateful for that it has done for our marriage, is just giving us that wanting to be healthy together. I love when my kids come in too and are trying to do it. That's like a great thing for your family to be doing together, is trying to be healthier. So from my perspective, when I first started, I was like, why wouldn't a husband be on board with this? Come on, like, I am trying to get healthier. So that's awesome. I'm going to start losing weight that I wanted to lose, or toning up, or both. And that's going to make me a lot more confident. And that's going to make me want to do more things other places. If I feel more confident and happy about my body, like, that's going to make you just, other things are going to go a lot better too. I'm like, why wouldn't he want me to do this? The whole environment of Beachbody is just positive. Everyone is happy. And the company just believes in you becoming your best self, your healthiest and just best self, mindset, everything. So that just spills out into the rest of your life. So I'm like, of course he's going to be supportive. Why wouldn't he be? And honestly, my husband has been very supportive of this, but he does have questions about, okay, so what about this? And we're buying what? And okay, so how much does this cost? Because I'm buying Shakeology. I was buying Shakeology before I wasn't a coach. But for him, so that doesn't matter. Like, he knows I was going to use Shakeology anyway, but he does like to know numbers, and he does like to know how much are we putting out, how much are we getting back. He knows we'd be paying Shakeology either way, but he likes to know those kind of things. So me being able to give him those kind of answers when he asks, like, okay, this is what we're paying for, this is what we're getting, these are my paychecks, and that helps him to feel a little bit more secure, just so he knows, so he doesn't think I'm just buying all the supplements, because yes, we use them all. Buying all the supplements, beach bars, all the things, and then never getting a paycheck, because I'm the one who does all the bills at our house. I'm the one who does all the things. So he doesn't see that side unless I tell him. So just be able to know what you're putting into the business and prove it that it's worth it, because you're bringing in more than you're paying out for your products. For sure, you want to be doing that. I mean, paying for your products is great, but I mean, we want to pay for a lot more than products with it. Like, once I could pay our mortgage with my income, that made a huge difference.
And it's important to not be offended by your significant other asking the question of, okay, how much did you make? How much did you bring in? How much did this cost? How much did that training cost? Because he's interested in, and you probably should know those things. Running your own business, you should know, yes, if you subtract all the trainings and all the things that I bought, this is how much I brought in. And having those numbers for him eases those things. And it's not a question. I can see how it can be almost offensive and being like you're doubting the business, but it's also just a legitimate question to see where it's at. And if you have the numbers to support it, then it's definitely going to encourage him and encourage your business. The other thing was,
I want to say something really quickly about the training. So I wanted to go to this training in San Diego a little bit ago. And so I told him, okay, I really am thinking about going and doing this. I feel like that's important to talk about it, because I mean, I'm not going to go just spend a bunch of money without letting him know, because I feel like that's something that we are in together. I don't want to do that. Like, that's not something I ever want to come between us, is me spending a bunch of money on something, even if it's something good. I don't want to do that without him knowing and being on board with it. And I know that he is going to be on board, because I come to him that way and I say, hey, I really want to go to this training. This is how much it costs. I feel like this is really going to drive my business forward, and this is really important to me. And he's like, okay, great. But it's not like I'm going to him, and I feel like that's just respect. Me going to him and talking about it, that's just me respecting him enough to let him be part of that decision too. He knows that I could go do that on my own, and I know I could. But just coming to him, it makes him feel like he's part of this with me too. And he wants me to do positive things for me. He wants me to grow my business. He wants me to grow my mindset. He wants me to do all the great things. That's just something that I feel like is important.
That open communication is incredibly important. Just being completely open, talking about things, figuring out why they're having difficulties. If your significant other's having difficulty with you having the job, what is it? What's the reason? I honestly believe some guys are worried that their spouse is going to leave them not necessarily really leave them, but leave them behind, as far as their body's going to change, everything's going to change, and are we going to grow apart? It's a legitimate concern. So if your spouse is having that concern, making sure that you're encouraging them, letting them know how you feel about them. We do love language stuff all the time, and we're big love language people. And so figuring out your spouse's love language and figuring out how to make them feel sexy. Even guys want to feel sexy. So figuring out a way, when their insecurities are squashed, they'll encourage you to go do some more of these things. The other thing is encouraging them to come along with you to some of the trips. I've been to several of the trips, especially the vacations. But I went out to Indiana. I wanted to see these things and figure out what she's involved in, because I wanted to support her in every way that I could. And so going out there, learning what they're going through the trainings was enjoyable for me. It helped me in my job as well. a lot of this information that Beachbody puts out will help everybody in every job that they have. Like, it is incredible the knowledge that they put out. The personal development is incredible. When she's into the personal development, I jump on board too. She buys the audio books and is listening to this or that, and I decide to join in and buy it too. I'm a, a supervisor at my work, and so I figure out ways to encourage my guys and to keep a positive mindset. Having your employees have a positive mindset is so incredible and helps everything function. I'm a law enforcement officer, and I supervise a crew of 5 guys, and when they are negative, it tears everybody down. Everything's a wreck. Everything's just horrible, and nobody wants to come to work, and nobody wants to do anything. Doing some of these things that she has had me listen to, doing the energy bus, having guys jump on board with the energy bus. Some of this stuff seems really silly, but wow, I presented at meetings, and it changes things. It has changed things dramatically at my work for guys. Just by her being part of this job has significantly influenced my life and my job. I'm a better supervisor because of it. Going to some of these trainings has taught me things that I need to work with my guys. But back to the vacations. I didn't want to. I jumped
before
on
the
it.
vacation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I wanted to say something about the love languages, because you guys, if you have not done the love languages book, go do it. Because that for us, when I was mad at the beginning of our marriage, I would get mad all the time about all these dumb things, but they were really important to me at that moment. But it wasn't until about 5 years into our marriage that we did the love languages. And he is words of affirmation, and I am acts of service. So I am cooking, cleaning, folding laundry, putting it away, doing all those things. And I'm like, obviously, I love you. Look at all those things I'm doing. But he is sitting there telling me, oh, you're so sexy. You're so beautiful. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Your dishes are still on the counter. Like, what are you saying? Like, stop talking. Stop talking and put the dishes away. Or the hamper's right there. Your clothes are right next to it. Like, blah, stop telling me I'm amazing and clean up your crap. Like, that to me was like, it was a light bulb for us when we listened to it. And I was like, because I read it and I'm like, he's never going to sit down and read this book. So I read it to him as we drove, or I got the audiobook and I played it while we were together, because I'm like, he's not going to go click on the love languages and start playing that at work. So I did it while we were together. And you guys, light bulb for us. Every time we have anything tense in our marriage, it goes back to our love languages. He realizes that if there's dishes all over the place and there's like things cluttering up everything, I'm going to be tense and I'm going to be anxious, and I am a lot more likely to be frustrated. I am less likely to be in the mood when I am like crazy with anxiety because there's just stuff everywhere. And he needs me to give him those words of affirmation, those positive affirmations every day. And to me, I don't really need that, but I like it. But I don't need it. And when I realized that that's something that he needs and I could do that, that was so simple. It's so simple to tell him. I mean, who wouldn't want to tell him how sexy he is? And oh, he's so cute. Anyway, it's really easy to do those things, but you need to know what they need. You need to know what your spouse needs. So go read, listen to, play it for your spouse. Okay. Vacations.
If you're not on board with the vacation, get on board with the vacation. I don't know how to get your significant other to join you on these. That's the most difficult part probably, but it shouldn't be. It's you pay a little bit to get an amazing package, right?
Yeah.
Like there is some money that goes into it, but what you get in the return is incredible. We went on the Mexico vacation, and we looked it up while we were there because we couldn't believe that we were enjoying this. We are not 5-star resort people.
Hampton Inn people right here.
We at the beginning of our paycheck though. So Thursday we're Hampton Inns.
Then we're calling people.
2
do you
weeks
live in
from
this
there,
town?
yeah, we're borrowing a room
you?
or a couch. So when we go out there and get treated to a $6,000 thing for $300, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You do have to pay for your flights and and but man, it's all inclusive. It's a whole 5 days of luxury.
Yeah, he called the concierge. He talked to every person who came in to clean our room. He asked everybody. So everything's free. Like, I'm not going to get charged for any of this stuff in my room.
Nothing.
Like, nothing. So
I can just grab this muffin right here, and you're not going to charge me for it.
This room service is free.
I can grab a Coke right here, and
I can tell you to bring me anything I want while I'm laying on the beach, and it's free. Right? Like, free.
Room service at 12:30 at night, and you're just going to bring it to me and expect nothing in return.
Like, he asked so many times. We were in a suite, you guys, with a jacuzzi on our roof. Like, this was crazy to us. We have never, like, we need a shower and a bed in a non-smoking room. Those are our requirements, period. Like, we don't need much. So going to a 5-star all-inclusive was huge for us. And the whole time we were like, wait, what? So that's why we looked it up. We're like, how much does this cost if we wanted to come here separate? Crazy. Yeah, this is
we wouldn't be able to.
No,
no. A lot of things that we've done with Beachbody, we wouldn't be able to do on our own.
Well, and this is like a guaranteed vacation for us as a couple once a year. Like, how amazing is that to have a guaranteed vacation if you're just moving your business forward? That's incredible.
And it costs us just the cost savings is incredible. So I don't know how to make them jump on board with that, but I think it starts with the workouts and how to get them to start doing workouts. I was never a big fan of the workouts. This last one, the work, if there's a time that you can get your husband on board, it's the work. Tell him he's in for it if he wants to start doing that.
But he did a bunch.
That one's incredible.
There's several that he really likes.
80-Day Obsession.
And Body Beast.
So I imagine it's a lot harder to get your husband on board with 80-Day Obsession. When she bought me the tights, because the bands that are going to go around my thighs is going to cut into my legs.
Cotton tights, by the way.
That was a harder sell, obviously. But the results is what really made the change. So
tell them about your running thing after 80-day, your test.
Mainly because I do a law enforcement PT test every 6 months, and so in the fall I did our PT test, and my 1.5 miles was really poor at 10:10, I think is what I did.
That's less than my mile would be, by the way.
And so all I did working out was 80-Day Obsession. I didn't do any running, none at all. 80-Day Obsession, and I followed the meal plan. I really followed the meal plan. And at the end of 80-Day Obsession, the next week I did my PT test, and it was 8:40. I cut off that much time, 1.5 minutes, just by doing 80-Day Obsession. I didn't think that was possible at all. I am a big believer in watching people go do these silly workouts and think that they're going to get faster at running, and they're really not going to, except for all I did was that, and it really showed me something. I feel amazing. And 80-Day Obsession, I'm a big believer in. It dramatically showed results.
Mostly because, the program is great, but mostly because we stuck to the meal plan completely. We did not cheat on that meal plan at all. So for us, that was, that's the difference. And getting him on board with nutrition, this is another thing. He didn't always eat well. Like, he grew up eating packaged foods. His dad ran a donut shop, so a donut and Coke was a very sufficient breakfast.
It's a good breakfast.
Totino's, Totino's pizza, like everything packaged, like that's the kind of food. His version of oatmeal was maple and brown sugar packets. You know, those things that are sugar with a couple flakes of oatmeal. Like, that's what breakfast was for him. White bread only, like it took some time to convert my family over to this way of eating, but it was little things. Like, I would just change a little thing at a time to get us all the way over. And now my family eats great. We all eat really well. We still enjoy donuts. We still enjoy all the treats, but we eat like whole grains are just the way we eat, veggie, heavy, everything. And our kids now, like our youngest who grew up in this way of eating, like veggies are his favorite food. And it's interesting, like just when you do that at home, your kids will, I mean, they will start to like it. They will start to eat that way too.
If both individuals in the house are doing these things, I can't believe how much good it comes from it. Just with your kids, watching you both work out, watching you both eat healthy. If there's any way you could encourage your spouse to commit to a plan, that's what got me, is committing to the plan. I said to myself, I can work out for 80 days straight, and at the end I'll switch back to whatever I was doing, but I'll stick through it and see if it actually gives me results. I want to see if it actually does. I mean, I used to work out all the time anyway, so that was a difficult thing for me to switch from going to the gym all the time and running all the time to just doing the workouts, doing 80-day obsession. But if you can get them to commit to that, they will see results. And if they see results, they're on board. At least I was.
Yeah.
But it's helping. You also have to help them with making sure you meal prep probably for them for the first little while. Well, once you meal prep for someone for a little bit, they'll realize what it takes, and then they'll meal prep on their own and eat properly on their own. But I think it takes doing it for the first several weeks probably in order to get them to buy into it. My hardest thing is finding food. So if there's food already sitting there, my goodness, I can go in there and snack something, and then I don't have to make it myself, and it's easy.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything specific that people have questions about? I wanted to leave some time if people have questions for him specifically, or us as a couple, but basically everything that has come from Beachbody being in our lives is positive. Like, especially
the personal development stuff, the being happy with where you're at. There's so much misery, and I mean, you look all over Facebook or social media and you see so much negativity. When you look on social media at Beachbody individuals, it's all positive. It's positive this, figuring out how to have a better life and a more positive life and all that stuff. I don't know how a spouse can look at or listen to all these things that are going on in their spouse's life and not see that it is positive. It has a positive influence on our family. It's having a positive influence on her. It's having a positive influence on how she feels about herself, her confidence. And then it just seeps into the children are more confident. We're teaching them things from Beachbody, how to wake up in the morning and say words of affirmation, and everything is coming from Beachbody, teaching us how to be better parents, better people, happier people. There is a lot to like about Beachbody.
Yeah, for real. Oh yeah, Lauren said how the husbands now look forward to seeing each other and spending time. So husbands meet on the trips, and now they are like buddies. So Lauren's husband, Shauna's husband, Glover's husband, Carrie's husband. I mean, we just hang out, and then they all discover the same thing that we did. Like, he's like, you're going to hang out with all these people you've never met before. Like, the first time I went to a retreat, he's like, okay, so we're going on a trip with people I've never met. And
it's not weird at all.
It's not weird at all.
When you get there, I'm a complete introvert. I don't like to be around people. It's not fun for me. But going on these trips, everybody's just kind of seems like they're feeling the same way, that they don't know the individuals around them and just want to talk and hang out, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can talk to this guy.
Yes.
I can talk to that guy. It's not a big deal. But I feel awkward in social situations all the time.
Okay, so Martha says her husband feels like that she should be at 5-star and making a lot of money by now. Okay, I get this because I feel that way about myself a lot of times too. I'm like, dude, why am I not doing this? Like, so-and-so did this, like so-and-so did this. But then I have to look at all the other people who it took a minute. Like most coaches, it took a few years before they started to really build. Like Ashley McClellan, I mean, it took her a while, and then she hits it, and Ashley Molstad's the same way. Like a lot of the top coaches are that way. Like they had this point where then it started to change. But I think that all that comes from belief in yourself, but also like his belief in me makes a big difference. When he supports and believes in me, it helps me to do better.
And it's also focusing on not what could come, not what is out there, but what is currently present. So it's about focusing on, wow, look at all the stuff that it's done for us. My kids watching me in the morning and watching my wife in the morning, I don't know what effects that's going to have on my kids 10 years from now. I can only assume that that's going to be a positive one. Them knowing how important it is to work out, how important it is to eat right, how important it is to think positively, to go on these trips for little cost. These are all the things that need to be focused on, and what you have in the minute versus what is in the future. Never lose track for yourself what's in the future, because that's important to keep on going and striving for it. And so trying to figure out a way to show them how important the things that you already have is.
Well, and if it's money that they're really concerned about, prove it. Like, prove it that you can make money. And I didn't quit my job as a nurse until I was making more than I was as a nurse from coaching. So for us, that was I couldn't quit that job for either of us to feel comfortable until I was bringing in more consistently than the nursing paychecks were. So, but showing him that I was able to pay our car payment at first, or just buying groceries, or that our family vacation in the summer was on me, and like those paychecks, like you just got to prove it. And if that means losing more sleep and getting up earlier and hitting it harder, inviting more people and doing all those basics more, that's what you got to do. You just have to prove it. Like prove to them that this is worth it. And I wish that every husband would just see how much happier and healthier and confident and all those things are in their wife, and just be supportive. I wish I could like beat the ones that don't, because I'm like, why? I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, why do you not support something that is so good? But I understand that there are some husbands who want more, who want the proof. I would say in that scenario, like I told him, if you want me to be making more than I'm able to do right now, then you need to start helping me. You need to start doing some of these things in the back office, or you need to start learning some of these things to help me and take some of that off of me, because I'm trying. And while I am homeschooling 4 little kids and still doing church, still having all the activities for my little kids, I don't have a lot more time. I'm doing the time I have towards the business. But if you would like me to be making more than I am right now, I would love for you to take some of that off my hands.
But also making sure that it's not just about the money.
Yeah.
Having a healthy wife so that later on in life she's there with you is going to be incredible. Having yourself healthy, having your family healthy there is so many positives that you should also focus on, not just making sure that you mention the money or bring up the money or focus on the money. It's also about all the other stuff that it brings.
Yes, GoPro, that's one of the ones on my list. Yes. Yeah, there are so many benefits to this that are non-monetary, even though that is important too, obviously, but the benefits far outweigh. Like we've talked before, and I'm like, okay, at no point would I quit doing this, even if I wasn't making a whole lot of money. I wouldn't quit anyway, because this is so essential to who I am now and who our family is, and what I want for my family. I want my kids to grow up exercising, eating healthy, and doing positive affirmations and personal development. Like, I want them to grow up with that, and growing up with the confidence that they are learning now from us and those kind of things. But our relationship, night and day different. We have always had a good marriage, I feel like, but it's so much better since Beachbody.
Yeah, if you can get your spouse to work out with you, you can't work out all the time with each other, and you shouldn't force it and make sure that you work out all the time together or anything like that. But every so often, get a program and do it together. it brings you closer together.
And then grab each other's butt and do fun things while you're doing it, because guess what? That's the perks of working out at home and working out together.
Yeah. I don't know how to get guys to work out at home, but I think more should. And like I said before, the works is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes.
work.
Okay. Any other questions that I missed? I don't think I missed anything.
Changing people's lives.
Yes.
I agree. I think Beachbody, people think Beachbody and they think so much about, oh, it's workouts, it's T20, it's Shaun T, it's it's more than that. And I wish that it was sold more than that, because it is. It is a powerful movement that gets into your household and changes lives.
Yeah, for real. Okay, guys, we have kids surrounding us now. They've been like creeping in around us, so we got to go deal with some kids. But thank you for jumping on. I appreciate it. I love you guys. I am so grateful that you hopped on. And
I hope it was useful.
Hopefully it was helpful. If you guys have any questions, let us know. We'd be happy to respond to you guys. Okay.
Thanks,
all right.
Guys.
See you guys.